let me start sharing my screen.
Sure. So you want me to walk through the case given here?
Yes, Venkat. So we are going to take today. We are going to talk about this company called PayBuddy. Looks like this is an American company, is it?
Yes, sir. So we took this as I created this case as an example of how the fintech industry operates. We are assuming this company to be based in America. Yes, in the fintech online payment space.
And one thing, so so far, all our students have always looked at data in rupees. So now suddenly they're going to look at data in dollars, is it?
Presumably, yeah.
Yes, sir. I
Hmm?
think it will be dollars, but I think apart from that, conceptually everything else will be very similar to what you can see in the Indian context.
Yes, the only difference, Venkat, is maybe you'll probably, I'm assuming you'll be talking in millions of dollars and stuff like that, right?
At least from the purpose of case study, we are looking at data at a single customer or transaction level. So I think most
Okay,
data points you're going to see are something like, okay, a customer A purchased a fashion product worth $100 last month.
I
So
see.
maybe you will have to do a mental translation of $100 means probably it's worth some 7,000 rupees in the Indian money. But yeah, that apart,
Hmm.
you're still going to see at one customer level a data point.
No, the reason I was asking this is because in the past, when we were doing currency formatting, we saw that people were always talking in lakhs and crores.
Okay.
And I'm assuming that your models would now be all in millions. Is that, but, or you're saying the numbers are not big enough to see that?
They're seeing at one customer level, so it will be hundreds of dollars.
One customer
Correct.
level,
Yeah.
the average purchase price of a customer. So of course, when you total it up, you're going to see it's probably in $1,000,000. But
Okay.
typically, for most purposes, we are looking at average at a customer level.
Sure. Okay, so why don't you tell us a little bit about this company, Venkat? What does this company do?
Okay. I think it is helpful to take a look at the picture on the right. It's a very accurate description of what the fintech world or the online payments specifically does. So in the middle, you see this company PayBuddy. It acts
Hmm.
essentially intermediary between three different parties. One is on the first, like top left, you see a customer. A customer is nothing but a person like you and me who are trying to buy something online. Okay. On the other side, you see a person, an entity called merchant. Now, in the online world, a merchant is, let's say, your Amazon.com. It could be your Big Basket. It could be your Book My Show. Any of these online merchants who, for their products or services, are trying to get an online payment. Right? So that is your merchant. The third party, which is probably an equally interesting party here, is what you call as a partner. Now, what exactly is a partner? Now, think of again the Paytm example, right? Let's say you purchase a movie ticket on Book My Show. Movie ticket is 300 rupees. Now, you are trying to pay through Paytm. Now, what happens within Paytm? Paytm essentially is nothing but an online wallet where it has details. You have stored already all your details of your existing credit cards, debit cards, and stuff. Right? So, during the time of this particular transaction, Paytm allows you to choose one of your credit or debit card. Let's say you choose an SBI credit card to make that particular transaction with Paytm. Now, SBI in this case becomes a partner because ultimately the payment is happening through SBI credit card. Paytm is just acting as an intermediary to enable that transaction. It is routing it to SBI credit card. So that is a good example of your intermediary. Another example is now again when you think about a SBI credit card, you will see that whether it's a Mastercard or a Visa card, right? Now the Mastercard and Visa card are the underlying networks which enable most of these transactions. Now they also come under this umbrella of what we are calling as partners. Okay, so
So they are also partners. Okay, I thought they were networks. Okay, sorry.
yeah, partners is a broad word. They are essentially networks. So we are just looking at using the word partner in a very broad sense to talk about all these banks, the card networks, everyone has in one bundle called partner, right? So essentially, to summarize, this PayBuddy is nothing but an intermediary that enables a customer to buy something from an online merchant through by using his underlying card network and particular bank that has given him that card. So that is the role of privacy in this online world.
So, Venkat, can you quickly explain to us how the money is flowing in this? Because I'm a little lost about what's going on. There are too many people here. So, if the customer has bought, let us say he bought a mobile phone on Amazon. All right. So, the merchant you're saying is Amazon.
Correct.
And then Amazon, let's say, uses, so Paytm is the payment medium you're saying, right? So uses Paytm. The customer, Amazon is basically giving us an option Paytm for the customer to choose, right? In some sense. So the customer says, okay, I will pick Paytm and then I will make this payment. Now what? I still don't understand. Where is the money flowing? It's going from customer's bank account to Amazon's bank account or what?
Sir, if you look at any of these online payment companies, right, call it Paytm or any of these, mobile, free charge, PayPal, all these companies, and in this example, it's PayBuddy, right? Essentially, before doing any of this purchase, you are expected to have established something called your account in each of these, right? So, for example, take you have a Paytm account. Now, once you create the Paytm account, you are going to put all your existing cards into it. Let's say you have an SBI credit card, you will add it to your Paytm wallet. Let's say you have a HSBC debit card, you will add it to your Paytm wallet. You can also have the option of directly linking your bank account also to the wallet. That is another option you have. So let's say you have a Axis Bank account. You can add that net banking Axis Bank again as another option inside your Paytm wallet. Okay. Now,
so wallet is like your purse in some sense, where your cards are stored.
Wallet in the online sense, it's your purse in the physical sense, right?
Okay.
Now you might ask me why bother doing all this, right? Another simpler option is when I go and make a purchase in Amazon, I can directly enter my credit card detail or debit card detail.
Yes.
I could do that. Now, why are these wallets important? Because see, with Amazon is a very trusted seller. I don't mind sharing my credit card details directly typing. I know it is still safe and secure with Amazon. But imagine you are buying some niche product from a very small merchant, online merchant. Now, when you enter card details, it is actually going to that merchant website, right? Merchant. Now, if he wants, he can actually misuse it tomorrow to make a purchase.
Oh, I see.
In the Indian context, I think we find it hard to imagine because there's a lot of safety mechanism in India. When somebody is making a credit card purchase, you still get an OTP on your mobile phone. So, somebody to misuse, right? Imagine the US and many other European countries, there is no concept of OTP. If somebody has your card, they can just type it in there and make any number of purchases they want.
I see.
The fraud.
Really?
Yeah, because there is no, what is it, second factor, right? It's called two-factor.
Two-factor authentication.
Yeah.
We take that for granted in India, but imagine again, right? Credit card is a new thing in India, but in US and all, it's been around for 30 years now. Now, for 20 years, there were no mobile phones. They couldn't have done any two-factor authentication. So the way the credit card industry has evolved in the US is, as long as somebody has your complete card number, they can actually make a transaction. It is up to the card company only to make sure they prevent, fraud and all. It's their headache. So that's how they have designed that industry. But still, as a consumer, right? Let's say you're a US consumer. You are very price conscious, right? So you are trying to buy something from a small China online merchant, some handbag. It's probably a imitation handbag that a China merchant is selling online. Now the moment you're going to purchase, you have to enter your card details completely. Then you get a sense of fear. Oh, what if this guy abuses my card number?
Oh, I see.
Right. That is exactly where the online payment wallets come into picture because they are a safe, trusted mechanism where you can store all your card. These card numbers will not be shared with anyone. Only when you make a payment, you have the option to choose the correct card with which you want to make that purchase. And they will enable, without sharing any detail with anyone, they will act as the intermediary to enable the transaction.
Oh, I see. So the merchant never sees the card actually.
Merchant never sees the card.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
When it happens through an intermediary like a PayBuddy in this example, or when it happens through a Paytm or a PayPal, the merchant never sees the actual card.
Okay.
The whole thing is like a black box for the merchant. He's just getting money. He is happy.
Okay.
For the actual card that you're using, right? Let's say it's an SBI credit card. they also won't feel any difference. For them, the transaction is happening. So the usual way they will authorize the transaction. So, and you as a consumer, you have it safe because you know that your details are with one company called PayPal or Paytm. They are not shared with anyone. So you are happy. So it's sort of a win-win world for everyone.
Okay.
Very interesting, Venkat. But just to come back to GV's question, no? So how does money flow? Let me tell you what I understand, okay, and then you can correct me if I've understood it wrongly. So let us say I buy a phone on Amazon. So one phone goes from the merchant to me.
Correct.
Correct. Now I have paid 10,000 rupees to Amazon. Let us say I use my HDFC credit card through PayBuddy. Okay. So I am paying 10,000 rupees, or I am promising to pay 10,000 rupees to HDFC.
Correct.
Correct. How does this 10,000 rupees that I am promising to pay HDFC, it has to actually reach Amazon, no?
Correct. So see, at that level, right, it is similar to any, you using a credit card directly as well. So all you're doing is on the transaction point, you're entering your HDFC credit card details, right? Now,
Correct.
this detail of, okay, so then PayBuddy acts as an intermediary. It collects this card detail. It knows that amount for which you want that, particular transaction, right? Let's say 300 or 500 rupees. Now, it shares these details with your HDFC card network. Now HDFC card network knows you as a customer. It'll inherently do its checks and all. Okay, this is a valid customer. He has a HDFC credit card. He has a certain credit limit. So okay, this is falling. Everything is good. So it will immediately transfer that money to PayBuddy. It will make a mark in your account that you have taken an extra credit of 500 rupees, and it will immediately transfer that money to PayBuddy. PayBuddy will take that 500 rupees and give it to the merchant. Merchant is Amazon.
So I pay HDFC Bank. HDFC Bank pays PayBuddy. PayBuddy will pay Amazon.
In this case, since you said HDFC credit card, I'm assuming that you're not paying anything immediately.
Correct.
You're just
Correct.
that option. HDFC Bank is immediately taking some money from its own pocket and giving it to complete the transaction. Later, when you get the money from HDFC, you're actually paying that money.
Understood.
So this is now a complicated chain of payments.
And just one more thing, that when the transfer is made to Amazon, it is made to Amazon's PayBuddy account, presumably, right? Or it will be made to Amazon some other account.
Good question, sir. It is made to Amazon's PayBuddy account.
Right.
So it will sit in that wallet. What wallet is nothing like a PayBuddy savings account, you can say. No, though there is no interest there. Then they can withdraw it to their actual bank.
They can withdraw it themselves to any account. All right, understand. Okay.
Maybe one other thing I do want to highlight here is like, where is the revenue here, right? Like, what does PayBuddy get out of this?
Right.
So essentially, the whole model for any of these online payment companies is a cut in the transaction. So let's say you're buying something for 200 rupees. PayBuddy gets to make 2 to 3% of any transaction value that it's enabling. And this 2 to 3% is coming.
Which it gets from the merchant. Merchant gives it, huh?
The merchant. So the merchant, let's say the actual, let's say assume it's a Book My Show movie ticket. Right? 300 rupees is the actual value. But what the merchant gets on hand will be 300 minus the cut that goes to PayBuddy, minus the cut that goes to that intermediary like Visa card network or over. So some literally some 6 to 7 rupees or up to 10 rupees might get cut off. He will actually get only 290 rupees in his hand.
So effectively, the merchant is subsidizing or not subsidizing. He's fully covering the cost of PayBuddy. Customer doesn't know. Customer saw 300 rupees, he paid 300 rupees, he doesn't know anything.
Correct.
But somewhere that 10 rupees the merchant has given away
Correct.
to PayBuddy to make all these things happen. Right? Otherwise, it will not happen.
Correct.
Out of the 10 rupees that PayBuddy got, PayBuddy is paying off some part of it to credit card company, right? HDFC credit card or whatever it is, isn't it?
Correct, sir. And the merchant also, he's not losing anything, right? On one equation, you're thinking that, okay, instead of getting 300, he got 290 rupees.
Right.
But this whole 300 rupees transaction may or may not have happened unless there was a pay buddy and
Correct. Yeah.
incremental value for the merchant.
Right.
So two questions from me, Venkat. First is, I find this word that you use, wallet, very interesting. So normally in my wallet, I will usually have some cash also.
Correct.
And then I'll have some cards. Does something similar happen in PayBuddy's case?
Yes, sir. That's also an option. So in the in the case of PayBuddy, you call it balance in the wallet. So that is literally cash lying in your wallet that you can directly use. Again, you can I don't know if you use Amazon Pay or Paytm. Also, you see this balance concept where there is cash lying around. The only reason most people typically don't do that is again, given that everything is online, you don't benefit by letting the cash lie around in this wallet because they don't pay you any interest typically. So okay, if it's a few bucks, it's okay. You're not expecting interest, but you don't want to save like thousands of rupees in your online wallet because they are not going to give you interest.
Understood. The second question, and since you've been giving examples of Paytm or Amazon Pay, so there's always, at least when I look at Phone Pay or Amazon Pay or Paytm, there's always an option called UPI. What is this option?
Sir, UPI is nothing but a direct bank-to-bank transfer mechanism that Indian government has enabled. It's very unique to India. It's a unique payments interface. It's a direct bank-to-bank transfer. Now, to use UPI, essentially now these companies give UPI as an option because essentially that the meaning is that instead of relying on any underlying card network, right, like Visa card, MasterCard, even when you use a debit card also, debit card is nothing but taking money from your savings account and giving it to somebody. But then also debit card is issued by this party like Visa or MasterCard, which means even in a debit card transaction, they have to get their cut. Now the UPI is to avoid all that. There is no intermediary in UPI. If I am making you a UPI transaction, the money directly goes from let's say my bank is Axis Bank, your bank is HDFC Bank. Money directly flows from my savings account in Axis Bank to your savings account in HDFC Bank. No intermediary. Now the benefit of the reason before UPI, right? If somebody has to make this happen, then they have to create this pathway between every pair of banks. Let's say there are banks in India. It's like 1,000 seats for every combination. You have to create that software for money to flow from bank A to bank B. Now the idea is that they have created this common interface called UPI, where any number of banks they'll have to follow that standard protocol to enable money transfer between bank A and bank B. So everything is possible today.
Fantastic. And I'm assuming that they have a little bit of a handshake, which makes, it checks if this is my bank account, etc. Right? Or because otherwise the money will just be lying suspended somewhere.
Correct. So all safety security mechanisms exist in UPI as well, but it is really enabling this direct payment without needing any underlying card or relying on networks like Visa or MasterCard and all.
I see. That's sorry, GV, go ahead.
I was saying, and for this UPI payment, PayBuddy will not make any money. Of course, PayBuddy is US. But I'm just saying, if it were in India, there will be no money made by PayBuddy on a UPI transaction. Right?
Correct. Typically, no. UPI, still the merchant is paying the money, right? So
merchant still pays. Okay.
The merchant to say that any transaction I route to you, I get a certain percentage cut.
Okay.
The benefit for PayBuddy, actually UPI is beneficiary for PayBuddy. Let's say if it were possible, because normally, let's say PayBuddy gets 10 rupees from the merchant. If the transaction happened through that underlying Visa or MasterCard, they'll have to share some part of it with Visa or MasterCard. On the other hand, if it happened through UPI, there is nobody who's demanding money. So that becomes
I see. So it is better for you. Okay.
Okay, so this is quite complicated, GV. It's not a simple.
See, unlike the earlier cases, I think here there is the background knowledge is quite a very deep knowledge is there.
Correct.
Which I think we have to learn before we can know the case. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay.